Have fun. Hopefully it goes good.
Okay, let's see here.
On the air, you're in the broadcast. That's
I
what it
think we
says
are.
over
Let me
my.
see if this is working.
It does. Yeah, no, we're live. It
Can you
looks
see
like,
us?
baby.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I
Weird.
don't know, but let me check my phone. But yeah, it says on the air. You're on live broadcast. That's what
All
it just
right.
told me, my man.
All
Oh yeah,
right.
no,
So I
we're
think.
on, dude. Right
All
here,
right.
let's go.
All right. So like, I'm not even kidding you. Like right before this, our old that big roadcaster thing that we have that we talked about with Jason Bryant, just like the cord broke.
Yeah.
So we had to make a whole new setup, and this probably won't be our most smoothest show, but it is. It's gonna work for now. So if anything, if you guys can't hear us or understand us, please let us know in the chat so we can try and figure that out on the fly. But we had a good time doing that live show in Iowa City, and afterwards, I know that we had talked a little bit about doing this live from now on, and I think it'd be more fun that way. I had a lot of fun doing it last time that way. Hopefully, you guys did as well. At the end, if this will work, we're gonna try and do this. Some live calls. So if you guys look down in the description of this video, there should be a link to join the show via your phone or something, or your computer preferably. It says join show by clicking here. So if you click that, that will bring you in. If you try to join early, we're not going to add you until the very end. So don't waste your time trying to join early. But at the very end, if you guys are staying here, then you guys will have the opportunity to jump on the show and say what you want to say to the guys. All right, Corby, Jake, how you doing?
Doing awesome. Pumped up about this live
Good.
show. I'm excited to do live stuff now.
Yeah,
It's a good addition.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of on the fly. Corby, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Everything's great out here.
Okay. All right. So we should probably start with Bedlam. I put that up first because I thought that was the craziest duel. I know you were Corby, you were at Ironman. Jake, you were coaching somewhere, I'm sure. Did you guys get to catch much of the Bedlam stuff?
Yeah, I mean I watched at least the end of the duel. I think I jumped in at about, we had practice that afternoon, so I jumped in like 57, 60, end of 57, start of 65, and got to see the mess that was Bedlam play out. So it was an awesome duel, awesome ending.
Yeah, I was really surprised at that line. And for some reason, I guess I shouldn't say I'm surprised because I end up taking OSU minus 13.5. But, man, that wasn't even close. And what's crazy to me is if you go back and look at the similarities of that duel between the Bedlam duel and the Cyhawk duel, it's almost like identical how it all went down, especially with that 13-point line. Did you guys recognize that at all? Did you guys think about that, or am I the only one thinking about Cyhawk still?
What do you think, Corby?
No, I did. No, I definitely did. I got lucky, man. I was on a plane and I left Cleveland and I ended up having to go to Houston, and I was on a plane and on United, and they have the direct TV in the in the headrest in front of you, and so I got to watch Oregon State, Penn State, followed by Bedlam on my plane. So it was probably one of the best plane rides I've ever had. So that was good. One thing about Bedlam, I mean, we can go through it, but to me, I mean, I can't believe, and maybe it's because the Oklahoma doesn't have a huge fan base, but at 184, okay, there was a situation at the end of that match where they nailed Penner for stalling when it was on the edge, and it's typical in the book, the video they show, you have to let the guy back in. Okay, Whitlake did not. He circle, kept pushing Penner towards the edge, and they warned Penner for stalling there, and for that match went to overtime. Whitlake wins, okay, and then the pin, and they win. Well, if Penner wins, that's the sixth match. So no matter what happens at 97, Oklahoma wins that duel. Nobody's talking about that. That was a call at the end, and there was a lot of bogus calls in that duel that could have gone either way. But at that actual match, at the moment, I was watching that like, oh my God, I can't believe this is going to be a huge ordeal. And I haven't heard anybody tweet about it, text about, or anything about that. And to me, like that was unbelievable. I couldn't believe the referee made that call in that position with that situation the way that it was.
Okay, let me ask you this. If you're Oklahoma State or if you're an Oklahoma fan, who should be more concerned right now? I mean, I feel like if you're an Oklahoma fan, you should be pretty happy with how that went down. Again, it's kind of similar to the Iowa State stuff where it's like Oklahoma State or Iowa has been so far ahead of Iowa State or Iowa. Oklahoma did a really good job of bringing in a lot of transfers with Moshe Schwartz, and they're going to get Buchanan here soon. Henson. I mean, the list goes on and on for Oklahoma and what they've done with their transfers. But I think if you're Oklahoma State, you're happy that you won at Bedlam. But I felt like, looking at that 13-point line, it should have been probably more dominant. But if you're Oklahoma, you lost, but you kept it close. So what do you guys think? Who should be more happy and who should be more concerned after this Bedlam duel?
Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma should be happy, but I think they should also be disappointed. I think the way that duel kind of played out, I thought that they were going to win that duel. However, Okie State, I think with the recruits that they've gotten in the last couple of years, just maybe haven't quite panned out like maybe they thought that it would. So, if I'm Okie State, that's like, hey, yeah, we won, but I don't feel great about it. And if I'm Oklahoma, you're probably in a position where you should have won. Like Corby said, I think, because the stalling call, it was like one stall in the middle of the mat, and then they run to the edge, and it's a stall at the edge of the mat in the last, 10 seconds between each stall call. So, a little crazy there. But, if I'm Oklahoma, I feel good, but not great just because I think they should have won. But, Okie State, man, they got to figure some stuff out. They've kind of been struggling as of late. I don't know what it is. I don't know if John's stuck in his ways or if maybe they're having some hard weight cuts or what it is. But man, they gotta figure some stuff out. I'm sure Corby has the same thoughts as me. But yeah, they've been a little disappointing as of late.
It's, to me too, it's concerning because to me it's fight and effort, right? That's what I see out of Oklahoma State. I see certain kids just not fighting, right? Master at a point in the match kind of was like, oh man, I'm in a dogfight here, and he kind of went the other way. Carter Young, right? Gets taken down there and kind of puts his head down, gets rode for a while, then comes back in that match. And it's like, if you don't put your head down and tuck tail there for a little while, you get out, you get away, and now more wrestling happens. You might win that match. I don't know. I think, I guarantee there was some stuff thrown at the break in that locker room, and John definitely lit their ass up. I guarantee it. I could tell by the way, but when Dustin Plott came out in the middle of Plott's match, I knew damn well that their ass got lit up in there because Plott's a leader, right? G comes out, goes through the motions, does his thing, is up big, gets a chance to where it looks like, hey, G could maybe get a major here, then he doesn't get the major, right? And then you get Plott comes out, right? Gangbusters, just boom, boom. And I was watching the play, and I was like, oh, John lit their ass up, no doubt, because the way Plott came out hungry to prove a point, to say, hey, I'm gonna come out. We need 4 of these next 5, right? We need them, and I need to. And then they just dropped. You just dropped 65, right? So now Plott comes out, and it's like, hey, we need these next few here, right? So he comes out and lights the fire, and then Whitlake looks like he's going to lose, and then he comes back and gets the win. And then, I mean, how about that? Get in there. Luke Serber is one of them, really strong kids, right? Athletic, was, talented coming up, was like a 7-pounder, could really wrestle, then got bigger. Then they decided to make him a heavyweight. Now he's back down to 97, where, in my opinion, nothing against 97-pounders, but they don't flow and really wrestle well, and he does. So he's very aware, and good for him, man. He comes up big there. And man, when was the last time you seen John Smith double-legged and picked up like that?
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. I don't know if you guys saw the lip reading or if you guys did any lip reading afterwards, but If not, go find the clip. It's on Twitter. You can look at that. But Corby, I want to ask you this: the Oklahoma State fans in the Discord are not happy with you not picking Dustin Plott to All-American. Have you changed your stance on that at all?
I know.
Same.
It's probably is Lee C in there? Hey, is it RJ Will Lee C? Who's on me? Got to be them boys. But anyway, it was injuries early. Definitely stances changed, right? And I said early, or they had reached out to me and asked why, and it was more, I guess it's the visual in my mind. I can't get it out of my head of his shoulder just popping out multiple times in matches, him putting it back in and just going and going, right? And obviously now he's proved to me the shoulder's fixed. It's good. The ankles in there are solid, and yeah, no, I got Plott to All-American for sure. I think I might have had Edmund Ruth in there towards the bottom. If I did, let's flip-flop them. And definitely, yeah, Plott's ready. I see it. I can just see it in the way he's moving, the way he's out there. He's got it in. And the way he came out after what he needed to do for his team this weekend, definitely. He lit the fire, and I got him. All-American for sure.
So Edmund Ruth is out. Edmund Ruth is out, and Plott's in, you're saying. You hear me?
That's what I'm saying.
All right, Illinois fans, you heard it here. Go get it. Go get them. Oh, man.
Now I'm going to get nailed by my home state.
That's right. All right, let's move on to the World Cup here. I'm not going to lie. I didn't get to watch a ton of it because I was busy doing some personal stuff, and then I was flipping back and forth between all different duels and whatnot. But I did catch the USA versus Iran, so let's start there. I thought it was a pretty cool environment from the aspect of you don't get to see a lot of those guys getting applauded in Iowa City, right, or Coralville. So most of the time those guys are used to going, or girls are used to going there and probably, getting booed and whatever, right? And to be able to go there and see them really kind of embrace it seemed pretty cool to see. Plus, I felt like that arena is pretty good size for that. Like if those amount of fans were in Carver, it probably wouldn't have looked as good. But I felt like it looked like a pretty decent crowd. It sounded like a pretty decent crowd from the stream. Did you guys pick up the same thing?
Yeah, I was like you, Zach, coaching on Saturday, and then we had practice Sunday, so I didn't get to watch a ton of it. That's my plan this week, is to go back and hopefully get to watch some. But Iran, I was pleasantly surprised with the attendance of fans. I thought, I was a little worried with it being wrestling season here or high school wrestling season, that maybe we don't get to see the fans that we did, but it seemed like it was well attended, and everything I heard was a lot of USA chants and people getting pretty crazy and pretty rowdy. So overall, I was really happy with the attendance.
Yeah, I think for the most part, other than some East Coast haters were saying they don't like coming out here and stuff, but we won't pay them no mind. As far as the wrestling goes, though, I think, what do you guys think's going on with Yanni? Obviously, it's tough competition. It's not like he's losing to nobodies, but it is, 3 losses in a row now. So, again, versus very high-level competition, right? Folk style and freestyle. But what do you think's going on over there?
Corby, you got anything? I don't think there's anything that I don't know what to say. I mean, he's you take a couple losses, you lose to Gomez, that's a surprise, but I don't think, at the weight he's at, and then training folk style and freestyle, I don't look into it too much. He looked really good against Iran. That dude's a stud. He's a bad matchup for Yanni as well. So, I don't look too much into it. I think just a combination, in everybody overall, you look at Jordan Burroughs losing too. I don't think we're peaked for this performance, peaked for this event. I don't think that we should either. I think we should make it a priority, make it a important event, but we're not peaking like we are for Worlds or Olympics. So I don't look too much into it. I think he just wrestles some tough competition, and they just got the better of him this weekend. So I'm not too worried about Yanni. I think he's going to come back strong, win a NCAA title, and go on to win multiple world medals. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, Yanni's gonna have to go through a tough kid from Ames on Mondays or on Tuesdays. So we'll see what happens there. But you know what I'm saying. Shout out to
my
Panera.
opinion. Well, my opinion is Yanni's bigger than people think. That's where I'm coming. It's my opinion on this one. I think he's gotten thicker, he's gotten bigger than people think, and I think he's actually having to cut some weight now. And I definitely think going down to 65 is a cut for him, and it's hard. He's been training freestyle and folk style up until this point, so he could stay ready for the World Cup, right? I mean, it's not like he's just in the room doing strictly folk style. So I think now you shut the freestyle down, you focus back on the folk style, and I think give Yanni 4 weeks, and he'll be looking like Yanni, crisp Yanni back in. It's just different, right? It is and it isn't, so it's like the training's a little different. The way things are, your mind. I just think you'll see Yanni be Yanni here. Not that he hasn't been. He's been great. I just think people, he's not little skinny Yanni anymore. Like, that dude's got some legs on him. He's got some hips. He's bigger than people think. And then training both styles. I mean, you know what? Jason Nolf was impressive this weekend. Jason Nolf boxes. He does jiu-jitsu. He wrestles. You know how hard that is to do multiple, like you're doing jiu-jitsu and rolling around, laying on your back, and you're trying to wrestle freestyle. It's very impressive. So yeah, I thought we looked good against Iran. J.O. losing, was a little, the head scratching thing about J.O. was the turn, right? You typically don't see J.O. giving up turns. But
Are you talking about JB?
Maybe just like you said, we're not. I say J.O. Gosh, yeah, JB. He giving up. You don't see JB like give up turns. Like, when was the last time he got turned? In my brain and high level competition, it's been a long time. So that was one takeaway. My other takeaway is we talk about Zaire, right? The heavyweight from Iran. Man, this new kid's a freaking beast, dude. He's a hammer. He's almost 7 feet tall. I don't know Zaire beats him. So we could have a new kid, 18-year-old from Iran at heavyweight, take the world by storm. I was really impressed by him. I knew who he was, obviously, but I thought, Zomer's crafty. He'll be able to, do something. Man, not at all, dude. That kid was solid.
I do want to shout out Jordan Burroughs, though, for competing in this. I know some of the other guys didn't compete for whatever reasons that we don't know, but shout out to Jordan Burroughs for showing up. I felt like he's kind of like you see Dan Gable from, representing wrestling all the time. He's always willing to do interviews. He's always at every event. He's always shaking hands. He's always doing as much as he can to be an ambassador to the sport. And Dan Gable kind of forgets about the whole, him being an Iowa Hawkeye thing, and he's like more of a wrestling guy, right? Rather than being like just an Iowa Hawkeye guy. And I felt like Jordan Burroughs is kind of doing that as well, where I'm not going to say names or nothing, but I feel like a lot of times in wrestling with people who have a big resume or big accolades to their name or have a lot of clout per se, pick and choose when they want to do interviews or when they want to compete in certain things like that for whatever reasons. That's none of my business, but I do want to applaud Jordan Burroughs for even going out there and be willing to come all the way to Iowa to compete in this thing. I'm sure he probably could have got paid doing an exhibition match for somebody else or doing something else, but I think he should get some roses for going out there, because win or lose, we got to see Jordan Burroughs compete, and that's always exciting. So shout out to JB, and also shout out to Kyle Snyder for also competing in this thing. And he wrestled against Gassimpur, which people didn't know if that was going to happen because he bumped up or whatever, right? So nobody was really expecting that. And I know other countries sent their maybe not their A team. Sometimes they sent their U23 guys or whatever. So shout out to those guys for putting it on the line for the fans. You guys agree?
Heck yeah. Dude, Kyle Snyder looked unbelievable this weekend too, having Gassimpur bump up to him, and he kind of just dominated the match. But Yeah, you always got to tip your hat to guys that are gonna be willing to compete. And he's never afraid to compete. So he bumps up, he bumps down, he moves all over. He's awesome. Same with Snyder. Taking that match against Cox was probably something that 99% of the population wouldn't do, just because you're in a kind of a lose-lose situation, and he never backs down from a challenge. So it's awesome to see that. I think it's important for our youth kids and high school kids to see guys like that doing those things and not being afraid to compete and just kind of hide behind a ranking or a result. So I think it's a benefit, and I think it's a really positive thing for our kids to see.
I think the Iranians too. The Iranians should get some more roses as well, because there was some controversial calls in that, and they were getting into it. The Iranian bench was getting into it. I think it was the Pantaleo match when that the controversy that people were talking about, and we can get into that. But the Iranian guy goes out there and thinks he won, so he's celebrating, he's doing whatever he's doing, he's kind of getting into it with the crowd and whatnot, and then obviously he gets challenged and he ends up losing, and he still took that. Was that Yazdani, the younger brother?
Baby,
I can't remember. Yeah. So
Baby,
he goes out there and he's celebrating, then they take it away from him, and he's still going over and like shaking the hand and hugging and being cool, and it was really cool to see that from the opponents rather than them. They could have easily been way more upset than they were. And there was another moment too where they, I think it was a Jordan Burroughs match. They raised Jordan Burroughs' hand, after he lost. It was like those guys, I think, know how much Americans care about wrestling, probably just as much as the Iranian fans care. And they came over here, and I hope we get to see more things like that, because I think that's something that's bigger than sports. And that was really cool to see from those guys, like the sportsmanship, I thought.
No, Iran, USA, the sportsmanship and respect in the wrestling ranks. I mean, when we've gone over there in the past, I mean, they love our guys. They treat our guys great, and a lot of our guys, can't, would love to go over there more. You know what I mean? So, and yeah, JB, man, ambassador to the sport, like you said. We talk in college at ducking and, guys missing and injury defaults on the backside and whatever in our sport. And here's a guy that, he's getting, I mean, listen, he's getting up there in age where, like, he should be marking his calendar for like very minimal competitions, right? But he's an ambassador to the sport, knows what it means to put on for the kids and for USA Wrestling. And I mean, wow, just think back, like go back 10 years, right? 12. Let's think of like how much he's done for our sport, Jordan Burroughs, in the last 10 years. Think about that. You know what I mean? Where from being on Good Morning America to being in commercials to being, what I mean? He really got wrestling in front of people, right? And we used to be that way for a while. There were guys, and then we took a stop there where we didn't have a lot of guys that, the faces were familiar to others. And then here comes JB, right? And then boom, the whole world, all sports, everybody knows who he is. So it's awesome. And the fact that he's still out there, man, is and competing at the level that he is at his age. I mean, gosh, you got coaches in the rooms that are 5 years younger than JB that are like, oh man, I only scrap once a week now. I'm 28. I'm getting up there. I only scrap once a week. It's like this dude's still training, beating the best in the world. So,
yeah, absolutely. And hopefully some of the younger guys see Jordan Burroughs. So it's like, if you guys want to have as big of a brand as him, obviously the winning's important, but we've seen people win a lot and not have that same brand that JB has had. And me speaking from experience, when I was going through high school wrestling and when I really started to get into the sport, it was all JB, everything. My mom just sent me a picture the other day of me in high school, like wearing his old cage gear stuff, and if you're a younger wrestler and you're talented and whatnot, and yeah, back in the day, or cage fighter. Was it cage fighter or cage gear? I can't remember. Cage fighter, that's what it was.
Fighter. Yeah. I'm surprised your gear even got delivered.
Yeah, I had all of it back in the day. But what I was trying to say was, like, if you're a younger guy, it's like, if you guys want your brand to be big, you got to go out there and compete. If you look at some of the bigger super matches in the past decade or whatever, it's all JV. Like, what other super match outside of like NCAA? I'm talking exhibition where like you have a flow or whoever pay you money. Like, it's always JB. It's everybody. It's always JB, and I think it's because Jordan Burroughs is just willing to go out there and do that. So I want to shout out not Cage Fighter, Cage Gear, whatever. Let's shout out Jordan Burroughs. All right, we can move on to Ironman. I'm sure, Jake, you paid attention being a high school coach. Corby, I'm sure you had a good time out there. We don't have to bring in every single result, but there was some drama, and let's get into some of that. Should we start there? Or what do you want to start?
Corby, go ahead.
Start with.
You're the one that you were there. I just followed from afar, so you take it away.
Yeah. What drama? What drama you want to talk about, Zach?
Let's start with the flex, the Ferrari flex. It's been a while since we've had a Ferrari in the headline, so shout out to the Ferraris for giving us some entertainment. But but there's always going to be people that are going to be upset with celebrations, and I feel like when you're an athlete, you got to probably keep that in mind. Now, did it bother me? Not at all. I love that kind of stuff. I love seeing that kind of things, but I'm being told that there were some deeper issues, which we don't have to get into all that stuff, but it should be known that there's probably a little bit of context there, and it wasn't just, hey, this is, I'm punching down here because just an unprovoked celebration. Like, he was partying for a reason, and I'm sure most people know the reason. They were there, right? And then they left. I think that's valid to me, but I don't know the deeper reasonings behind why they left and whatnot. But if there is bad blood there and you want to celebrate, you want to party, you won, go ahead and flex. That's just my opinion, though. I could be wrong.
No, that's exactly what happened. Just, they were there. There's just some, little bad blood, and I think you beat them in a big stage, and you flex on them, right? I don't think, right? I mean, if his last name's not Ferrari, it's not a huge deal, right? It's, people are trying to, in my opinion, he's going to be, trying to say, there's not, that kid's a great kid, man. That Ferrari kid, Angelo Ferrari, that kid's amazing. Like, people are trying to label, right? It's just how society is now. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way it is. It's sad, but it's true, right? And you're good. People are gonna hate you, and a lot of people are gonna boom whatever. But then to your face, they're not gonna say much. They're gonna tuck tail and look the other way. And I like the kid. I think he's one of the best high school wrestlers around. And I know he put out his list of 5, and I mean, after that, come on. I mean, you guys live in the state of Iowa. I mean, where does that kid need to be? I mean, come on, man. That kid needs to be.
I agree, Ames. I agree.
Can you see that right now? That kid flexing. Top 5 list. I mean, to me,
I don't know. I don't know. According to,
you think Ames, huh?
According to Hawkeye fans, they don't like it when people celebrate. So maybe he shouldn't go there. At Iowa State, we don't mind. How many Iowa State fans you see complain about Younger with his tongue out? None, right? So if he wants to flex and he wants to party,
there's only 500 of.
they only allowed us like 100 tickets or something like that. I was told, to that duel. But I mean, if you want to party, you go to the fan base. I'm reading on Twitter that Hawkeye fans do not like the celebrations. So I would counter argue there, Corby. Jake, what was your favorite match of the weekend for Ironman?
I don't know about this. Probably wasn't my favorite. Just the one I saw all over Twitter, if you want to talk about drama, was Lockett getting his fourth caution for a coming back to the center and not putting his foot on the line, which I watched a lot of I mean, if you're talking Iowa high school wrestling, I watch a lot of high level Iowa high school wrestling this weekend with, you know, there was like 6 of the top 10 teams, 2 nationally ranked teams at tournament we were at, and I saw 0 cautions for coming back to the center and not getting your foot on the line. That's always been a position where the ref says, "Hey, move your foot over whatever," So that was interesting. I know Lockett had an awesome scramble in the match before. I cannot remember the kid's name that he was wrestling, but it was in his quarterfinal match. He had an awesome match, awesome scramble. But I'm a little guy, so I'm pretty impartial to the 126 on down. So to see Luke Lillidahl beat Forrest in overtime, that was impressive. Davino put on a tough ride against McGowan. That was, a match that we were all excited about. And then, Bassett whooped up on Barrick Jordan, which I think maybe some people weren't surprised by. I was surprised. I thought Barrick Jordan was going to be really big at 113, and Bassett apparently he's just that good. So, yeah, it was an exciting tournament. I didn't get to watch in person. I got to watch via computer, but those are some of those lightweight matches I was excited about. And then that caution call just kind of ruins high school wrestling sometimes for me. It just sucks to watch a kid get his heart ripped out over a ref making a caution call over probably like a half an inch, according to some of the pictures I saw. It's tough. I don't know. That's
Yeah,
tough.
I'm with you there. I mean, that's a very tough one to call, right, as an official. I think, my opinion, I was there. I was pretty close to it. Um, when they went out of bounds on the way back, Lockett wanted injury time. He did the whirly to the coach, right? And the
Really?
coach told him no, shook his head no. So, yep, he wanted injury time. Coach told him no. So they were on their way back, right? And I think, my opinion, I don't know, but like maybe the ref, well, obviously he knew that the caution was going to be a point because he'd already awarded points on the caution. So I don't know there if actually the ref in his brain wasn't thinking he's stalling because he got up to the line. He wanted injury. Coach told him no. He kind of walks back slow and then he doesn't put his foot there because, he wants that extra second maybe, and the ref hits him. So I think there was a little bit more going on there than just put his foot on the line. So, and I actually did talk to Ladarian afterwards a little bit, and he, takes it like a champ, man. The kid's, super cool, calm. 10 minutes afterwards, and he's like, I shouldn't have been that close. I should have been scoring. I wasn't, and you know what I mean. And he even said, I wanted injury time, and coach told me no. So like I think there was a little bit more going on there than just the caution. But yeah, if you from the outside wrestling world, you see that picture, you see things, you're like, oh, that's horse shit, whatever. And do I like a match ending that way? Absolutely not. But I think there was a little bit more going on there than just the foot on the line. And I'm with you. I thought Barrick Jordan would put up a match. I thought his strength in being a man would pose some issues maybe for Bassett, right? I didn't think Bassett would go out and do what he did to him. And yeah, Bassett's unbelievable. I walked away from that tournament really, really impressed with him. And also with Luke Lillidahl, right? I'm so impressed with Jax Forrest. Coming into the weekend, 9-2 against D1s, 5 pins, or 5 techs, 2 pins. Had beaten Unger. Unger loses to Richie Figueroa in overtime in Vegas. Unger beats Malik Hanzo 4-0. So that's just putting everything in perspective, guys. That's what Jax Forrest has done. And so then, he goes out there and he, rips his way through the tournament. He gets into the finals against Lillidahl, and then Lillidahl beats him. Luke Lillidahl is really, really good. And, that's where I'm at. And I don't know where you're going to go. I know I had a visit to Iowa State and wrestled in their beat some college guys himself. And I don't know. We'll see where he ends up, but whoever gets Luke Littledahl is going to be very, very, very happy. I think Luke Littledahl is going to grow. I think he could possibly be a 41-pounder in the future is where I'm at, but we'll see.
Corby, this is probably a question for you since you're always deep into the bracket sheets afterwards. Was there anything on the backside that you think people are missing out on results-wise that you think should be highlighted? Is there anything I know I'm putting you on on the spot here, but anything off the top of your head that you saw on the backside you were impressed by? Or Jake, either one of you guys.
No, I mean not off the top of my head. I mean, I imagine there was some. I have looked at the bracket, but the way it's there's 2 gyms or 10 mats, so sometimes once the winners get rolling, then like from the blood round on is down in the back gym. So it's like I saw some results, but I didn't get my eyes on a lot of them backside matches to be able to like tell you what happened in them. But there were a couple other calls too. In the Bailey and Cannon match in overtime, there was like Bailey had a leg in with like a power half on the far side, but Cannon butted up and kept moving. And Cannon's a kid with a heck of a story. He was at Wyoming Sem. He ends up with back issues. They find mass in his back and they have to remove it, and he's like off the mat for 2 years, and now he's back 138. Now he's that was in the semifinal actually, and then Cannon makes the finals against Kanan Webster. And hey, shout out Illinois, 6 champs at the Ironman. 6, count them. 6 champions out of 14 weights. So Land of Lincoln, himself was a grappler, and the Land of Lincoln showed up out there in Ohio and showed the boys how a little bit of wrestling's done there.
That heavyweight is from Illinois, right? The one that we saw at Donnybrook, and he came here and won as well. Dylan Johnson?
Yes.
Yeah. You think he'll wrestle or play football in college?
My gut says football. His brother's in the league. His brother's like 6'5". I think he's with the Buffalo Bills. So I mean, they've got the size in the family. I could see him playing. Oh yeah, Gallo did too. That's right. Dylan. Yeah, no, Gallo from Innocent Valley, one of PJ Hughes' teams. He battled all the way back on the backside, and ended up placing. We missed Zach Ryder at the tournament. He's injured. So that was one of the guys we missed. And shout out to Braden Thompson, challenging himself. Going up to 190. He only weighed in at like 183. Could have been 75. I think he's going to go 95 in Illinois. It's he's wrestled a lot of those kids at 75 and 82 already, and so he's figuring go to a new weight and wrestle a bunch of kids that he hasn't wrestled. So in this day and age, when kids don't challenge themselves and they're running and ducking, it's cool to see him. He goes 86 kilos at the Farrell. He's wrestling senior level competition. And now he bumps up to 90. He's going to go 95 in Illinois. He was 95 and he won the Donnybrook. It's impressive to see a kid that's probably could be an 874 out of the gate, maybe if they did, but they'll have plots, so probably an 84. But I tell you what, he better gain some weight, because if he shows up down there at 182 or 183 pounds and John Smith's still roaming campus, he may be a 65-pounder out the gate. So, because they're going to need a 65 next year.
All right, let's move right along here. Go back to college wrestling here. We're kind of flipping around, but I got to watch Virginia Tech Mizzou duel, and it was a lot of fun to watch. Mizzou, I don't want to send a shot at Bummy here, but they are not helping themselves when it comes to wrestling. These top level teams. That's always kind of been the fake news about Mizzou is they don't wrestle anybody, and then they get in these kind of situations where they get top level competition and they don't maybe perform in these kind of moments, this top 10 moment. But did you guys get to watch this duel much, or am I the only one that watched it? I felt like there was a lot going on at that point, because you had Bedlam, you had VT Mizzou, and then you had World Cup going on.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch a whole lot outside of just looking at some of the results. But it looked like, I know we talked about in our group chat, just, Missouri was missing a guy or two. And I know the 149 match was really good. I haven't had a chance to go back and watch it yet, but yeah, I think overall it was obviously an awesome duel, right? 17-15, something like that. Virginia Tech gets the upset. I think Mizzou is, obviously them not having certain at 125 hurt them a lot. I think that's a match, it's probably a toss-up match that, maybe decides the duel. I don't know. Zach, you probably know more, or Corby knows if he watched it, but those are just my kind of takeaways. I think Mekhi Lewis. I watched a couple highlights of him. He looked good. He's ready to rock and roll again. But Missouri, tough dual team. Guess we'll know more about them here in the next couple weeks.
I was kind of surprised that 84 Hunter Bolin beating Sean Harmon that bad. But yeah, 184 and 125 are definitely the sword that Mizzou died on, in my opinion. Corby, what did you think of the Brock Mahler Caleb Hinson result? 7-5, Brock Mahler. For some reason, I thought Hinson was going to beat him, but Brock Mahler pulled it off. Brock Mahler's a winner, by the way. That guy just figures out ways to win.
100%. I like Mahler there, and the reason is just positioning, right? I think that he's got a really good feel, and he's not a guy that gives up a lot of points. And usually if you score on him with something, you don't score on him again with it in the match. So I liked him there. I liked Vatek in the duel as well. I think I said in the chat before when the lines came out, I think they were getting a point and a half. And then I think they were on Betfred. Maybe they were a pick 'em on the other, or vice versa. And
yeah, it was a pick
either way. Yeah, I liked him either way. I just thought I didn't think Andonia would go yet. Soon, I'm hearing. So that was one. And then I liked Vatek at 25. They didn't list certain in the probables, so that I gave that to Vatek. So then, the toss-up, it pretty much went chalk. I liked Bolin. I mean, no upsets in the duel. Everybody that was ranked higher and that was really supposed to win, if you look at it on paper, won. And so, yeah, no real shock to me. I like Vatek. I like what they're doing. They got that problem at 25. Good problem to have. A lot of teams have a problem at 25 this year. I mean, think about it. Arizona State right now, Figueroa Courtney, Rutgers, Shawver Peterson, right? You've got Vatek, Ventresca, Cooper, Flynn, right? And then you got the best team in the country winning national title after national title that don't have a 25, Penn State, right? I mean, they have Steen, but I'm talking about a high-level kid, right? It's just crazy to me. It's just weird. And then you've got Princeton, who, if Gloria doesn't make weight, they forfeit because they don't have another 25 on their whole team. As well, I looked the other day at Wisconsin's roster, and they don't have a 25 on their team besides Barnett. It's just crazy to me. Like, Bono probably wakes up every morning, but first thing he does is probably look at the portal. You know what I mean? And he doesn't have another 25 on his roster. It's unbelievable. But you got like 9 41s through 49s. It's just wild. I can't. There's 25s out there. I don't know why. I just don't know why these teams don't have 25s. It's crazy.
Yeah, I can't believe a team would never have a 25. I'd be I would
ahead,
never
Zach.
be a fan of a team like that. You know what I'm saying? That has to get guys from 7-Eleven. I will talk about this, though. Keegan O'Toole got taken down. And I'm high on Keegan O'Toole. I'm picking him to win it. I'm picking him to win the Hodge, too. But I felt like there's maybe 2 or 3 little chinks in his armor. And maybe that's my own being so high on him that I thought he was going to be untouchable. But he did get taken down in this match. He had a close match with Peyton Hall, who's really freaking good. I'm probably higher on Peyton Hall than I am taking O'Toole down a notch. And then he didn't tech the what was that kid's name from St. Louis school, the Lindenwood kid, right? Didn't get any bonus points, or maybe he majored him or something like that. He was the only one on the team that didn't get a tech or a major or a pen. Either way, there's been a few chinks in his armor, and you look at how good David Carr did against PK, I'm maybe starting to think otherwise about O'Toole beating Carr. And you guys can call me Homer all you want. I originally picked O'Toole to win, so now I'm kind of going the other way. Where are you guys at on this Carr O'Toole thing? We're going to see it eventually. So today, if they wrestle today, who you guys picking?
I mean, I got Keegan O'Toole all day. I mean, not all day, but I do think I think we're talking about recency bias. I think last week people were talking about Kennedy beating Carr, right? So a couple bad matches or a couple bad performances. I don't think you can I don't think you can make any predictions off of that, or at least I'm not going to. I think that Carr is obviously extremely good. I think he looked great against Kennedy. Give me O'Toole though. I think he's better. I don't think he's gonna make any mistakes. I think he's gonna get up for a match against Carr more than he's gonna get up for a match against Lindenwood. No offense to Lindenwood, but maybe he's trying some new things. Maybe he's looking for falls. Maybe he wants, he's talking Hodge stuff. So, I think when it comes down to it, I think that he's gonna beat Carr. I think it's gonna be close. I think Carr's probably a finalist type kid, but give me Keegan O'Toole. Maybe I'm wrong.
Corby?
Yeah, I like. I mean, right now I go O'Toole, but let's see what happens the rest of the now. I think I got a surprise guy for the Hodge right now. I think Kirk Fleet, man. Look at what Kirk Fleet's doing right now. Okay, let's say he runs the table. He's teching dudes, is a heavyweight. Let's say he runs the table and beats Mason and Schultz and Cassiope and goes undefeated. I mean, who else? Right now, 125, Spencer, really not enough matches. We're not seeing RBY a lot. 41's not really a weight for a Hodge. 49, I mean, everybody's taken a loss already. 57, no. 65, O'Toole's not looking great, right? I mean, he's looking great, but he's not looking like he's going to be the Hodge guy. 74, it's one of those weights. 84. I mean, I'm looking through who's gonna. I mean, where's the Hodge gonna come from this year? Are we gonna have? I mean, are we gonna have a one-loss Hodge winner, or are we gonna get a Hodge to a guy, maybe a Hodge to a guy that doesn't have a lot of matches? It's gonna be an interesting year to see where the Hodge goes.
I'm still trying to make sure that my prediction's correct with O'Toole. So I'm going to stay there, but I'm only getting worried because of how good David Carr is looking and, just like small things with O'Toole. But I feel like O'Toole's probably just one of those guys who's going to give up takedowns and have weird performances because of the style that he wrestles. He's so unorthodox that, someone's going to catch him. But he's never really in that much danger. Even the Peyton Hall match, you kind of always felt like Peyton Hall was playing catch up more than he was, trying to like even things out. It felt like, at least in my opinion. But no, I thought the gambling really makes things interesting, doesn't it? Did you guys pay attention to the lines at all this weekend?
Oh, for sure I did. And the car thing. Let me say that I know on the shows in the past I'd thrown out there, hey, maybe Carr certified down at 50. When I got my eyes on David Carr at the Iowa duel, no, there's no way. His legs got bigger, his body's transformed. I got a little, up close and got to see what he looked like, and then over the weekend I confirmed he did not certify at 57. He's a 65 pounder, and he's grown into the weight, and that's where he'll be. So yeah, I think. What I'm shocked about is that that David Carr isn't a more like, I don't know, why is he not a more household like name, right? Like, is it, I don't know, in like the wrestling community, right? It seems like a lot of other athletes, right, get talked about. Is it maybe just that he's quiet and action not in your face? What do you think, Zach? It's like, to me, he's such a good kid and a great person, and he's an unbelievable wrestler, and so kind and nice to everybody. And I just think, like, I don't know, is it maybe that that he just, I don't know, for some reason, to me it's like than that. What do you think? Is it
I think
Ames? Is it out there? He's in the middle of the corn or what?
no. I think you are wrong. I think that he is a household name, and the reason why is, he gets invited to the All-Star Classic, and that, like, they don't just invite anybody to that, right? You got to be the top dog. And look how many top dogs there are at 165, and he's the one that gets the call. So I think if you're Flow Wrestling or whoever in WCA who actually puts that together, right, I think you're looking at who's going to be the biggest draws. And so the fact that he got chosen at 65, now I know at the time it was, the whole Monday car thing that they wanted to kind of revitalize. So maybe you could make the argument that he's using the family name or whatever. That's maybe why he's who he is or whatever. But I think the other thing is the other reason why I think you're wrong is who was the talk all off season, like right after March, for now 2 years in a row, and not because he lost last year. It was because they all think he's going to transfer. So that could just be me, though. Maybe I'm not the best one to ask that, because to me he's like, he's like the guy, right? So I'm an Iowa State guy. To me, he's the dude. He's the guy. He is him, as the kids say. So I think for me, I'm maybe the wrong person to ask, but I do think that you're wrong, and I think that he is as big of a name. And I think you could make the argument that Penn State has so many good guys that some of those guys get buried, and they don't have as big a names as they could have. I don't know. Jake, as a neutral perspective, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think Carr gets the love that he probably deserves. I think that he, maybe it's his style, maybe it's Iowa State, kind of being down a little bit compared to what they had been before. I think Dresser's obviously bringing them back up, and he's kind of been the catalyst that's done that and helped bring them back into the top 10 and now, honestly, the top 5 or 6. So, I don't think he gets the love that he deserves, but at the same time, as he's not out there pinning people, he's not out there on social media stirring up stuff. He's not out there, being a AJ Ferrari, if we want to really get into it, but his social media is more, it's positive. It's all about Iowa State, and it's not just Iowa State wrestling. It's Iowa State athletics. He's trying to, build a brand there and build up, Iowa State as a whole. So I think he gets a ton of love within Iowa, but, on a national scene, I don't think he gets the love that he deserves. Obviously, he's a national champ. He got third last year. He bumped up a weight into Keegan O'Toole, Shane Griffith, Dean Hamidi, Amin. So I think he's kind of trying to etch his name in history here with doing something like that. The easy thing would have been to cut down to 57 and probably win another title, but he wants to challenge himself and go up to 65. So I think if he goes out and wins a national title this year, you're going to hear a lot more people talk about David Carr. I think he's underrated when it comes down to that stuff.
Bringing up, so did you see over the weekend, Amin was back. He went to the Cleveland State Open, and he actually lost to Bryce Hepner. Remember, Bryce Hepner beat Carson Karchla in the wrestle-off. So Hepner beat Amin over the weekend. And then the same day, he's up the road, and then Ohio State forfeit 65 in the dual meet. So I don't know if Karchla didn't make weight or what happened, but he didn't wrestle in that duel, and they forfeited while Hepner was out at the Open. Kind of weird to me. I don't know what happened. I tweeted at him, and I didn't get a response, and so I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what happened, why it went down that way, but old Tom Ryan, he decided he wasn't going to answer me, so that's okay.
Did you get a DM? Is he fake
No,
freezing?
no.
No?
Only you only get those are no those only no those only come in nasty grams, as you know. We got a lot of soft coaches out there, right? You ever
Tell
see
him.
like remember when you were a kid and like Charmin? Charmin, there's
Ultra
Charmin
soft.
soft. Oh my God, some coaches out there. Oh my God, where are you? Oh, listen, there's some coaches out there. If you're at an open tournament and a media guy tweets something out that you don't like, please, please, please coach your athletes, get them ready. If you're going to DM after the tournament, not like 6 minutes later when you got another guy up in the corner. Okay. Stop being soft. All right. We're wrestlers. We can be tough. And, you know some of you coaches out there who you are. So let's go. You guys are going to start getting called out now. Maybe some of you in the future by name. Okay. So better slow your rolls out there, you softies.
Live on. Hey,
They're going to go
we
to
need,
like Krispy Kreme and shit. Like,
we need to get a coach on here with us, like to be the fourth member for one of these shows one time. What do you think?
Let's do it.
I think we can get somebody good, and I think
Let's
we
go.
could
We'll
we
get
could get
one.
somebody.
Who do
We
you
gotta get
want?
somebody that's willing to kind of
do you-
get things fired up a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Someone needs to get something off their chest.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Who could we get? You know me, I talk a whole hell of a lot. So we don't want to bring, I mean, people don't realize it, but we don't want to bring on Metcalf. Metcalf's me. He's a big talker. So, but no, Metcalf would be a good one actually to get on. Because you got, you're an Iowa State guy. You know what I mean? It'd make you feel warm and fuzzy.
He's probably the coach. He's probably the one coach on the staff I don't have that much relationship with. I'm not that I have like a relationship with any of them really, but like he's the one I probably talk to the least. So I'm gonna say I could. St. John doesn't even really talk that much, and I probably talked to him more than Metcalf so far. Anyways. All right, let's move on here. We're going to move on to Beat the Streets LA. Before we do that, though, you guys, if you want to join the chat, which we would love to have some people join the video chat particularly, but if you don't want to do the video and you just want to call, you can go ahead and call the number that is down below. The number is 515-344-4098. That's 515-344-4098. 4098. Just scroll down and click the freaking link and join the video chat. It should be right down there, which it is. So 40 you guys watching. Let's see if we can get somebody in here. Let's talk about Beat the Streets LA, though. It is this
could be
weekend.
dangerous.
Yeah, it'll be fun, though. But while we wait, we'll talk about Beat the Streets LA. The Ukraine women, they won the World Cup, and they are continuing their U.S. tour on over to LA. They are getting on a flight and going over to LA, and they look freaking good.
I love it.
Let me read off some of these matches here really quick. There is some changes to this lineup, so I'm not going to get into that too much, but obviously with the World Cup, some of these athletes competed in that. They're a little bit banged up, but we got Amy Fernside, we got Jakara Winchester, Alex Hedrick, Mallory Velty, Amit Allure, and Diamond Guilford. Again, like I said, some of those matches are going to get changed up, and we're going to get some replacements. I can't say what yet. And then for the men's side, we have Nashawn Garrett, Evan Henderson, Evan Wick, and Mike Machiavello. Evan Wick, though, he has the number 4 ranked guy on the UWW website, Vasil Mikhailov. Jake, you're an international beast. What do you think of this matchup? Does Evan Wick stand a chance? Home territory in California, Los Angeles, Huntington Beach. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, you can go and buy tickets and you can come in person. But if you're not there in person, you can go to our YouTube channel and watch for free. No Patreon, no paywall. It's free. An insane production team has been hired to do this. I believe I can't announce. The announcers are going to be great. I'll just say that. You'll be surprised. It'll be good. But Jake, what do you think of this matchup between Evan Wick and Vasil Mikhailov?
Yeah, I think Evan Wick's a guy that everyone's gonna have problems with. I think him being so tall and lanky, is gonna give guys fits. I don't know that he's ready to compete at this level, but I guess this is a perfect opportunity for him to find out whether he's ready to go at this level or not. I think it's going to be a competitive match. I think he's going to give everyone fits that he wrestles this year. He's so long and lanky and just does things differently than everyone else. And I think Evan Wick's kind of a guy that people forget about. So he's done a lot of damage on the freestyle scene. So I expect him to compete really well here, and I think he's got a really good chance at pulling an upset.
Also, we have Nashawn Garrett, Evan Henderson, and Mike Machiavelio. Again, there will be some changes there, which will probably get announced tomorrow. So the Ukraine women, they stepped up and beat Japan and China, I believe, on their way to a title. Is that correct? Do you guys know off the top of your head? I'm getting 2 nods, 2 yeses.
Definitely beat China and Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So that'll be fun to watch as well. Have you guys ever been to or watched the Beat the Streets LA stuff before? No,
I never had.
Okay, so they did it a couple years ago, and they hired this production team. And the production for this thing, like, if you guys think it's just me and Tyler rolling up with some cameras, you're wrong. That is definitely not what's going on here. Like, these guys have put in a ton of time and effort. So if you guys want to watch some freestyle wrestling this Sunday, please check it out. Again, it is for free, and this whole thing is for a good cause, which is the most important part of this whole thing. I know the wrestling is kind of the hook for this, but obviously we want to support Beat the Streets. Great organization. I can't wait to get out there. We're going to do a freaking sweet video for it. Red carpet. I'm going to get a haircut. I'm going to wear a suit to this thing. Going to do a little man on the street action. It's going to be an all-time classic video for Stalemates, and just an all-time classic event for Beat the Streets LA. So please check that out this Sunday, and then the benefit is Saturday. So December 17th and December 18th, Beat the Streets LA Benefit Gala and International Wrestling Event. It is their 10th year of doing this, so you guys can check that out on our YouTube channel for free this Sunday. All right, let's open it up. Let's see if we can get somebody in the chat. And we don't have anybody yet. JB, you said you joined. If we get, let's do this. If we get, so right now we put out that video, the Tom Brands and Kevin Dresser video, which has done amazing. And we put at the end of that video that we would donate $1 per subscriber for everybody that joined, or for everybody that subscribed from that video. And right now, Tyler's pulling it up, but we have like 500 some people. So we're already in the hole, like $500 that we're going to donate to Beat the Streets LA. And for every person that joins this, whether you call or chat via the video thing, we'll donate. We'll do another $20.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get up to
Sounds
600 by the end of the day.
Yeah,
by the end of
we are
this live
plus
stream.
500 from that subscriber count on that video.
Yeah, so we gained 516 subscribers from that video. So we're going to do $1 per subscriber for that video, and then however many people we can get on here to do to join on the live until we absolutely just can't do anymore, then we won't do it. But for everybody that would call in and join this live, we'll donate another $25. So
20.
All right, we have somebody. Let's get Swayze on here. Swayze is joining. Adam on the right, would you? All right, Swayze, what is going on? Thank you for tuning in. I know you've been a Stalemates guy for a little bit now. Where are you calling in from?
Yeah, I'm calling in from York, Nebraska.
Okay, Nebraska guy. You got any hot takes about wrestling over this past weekend? What do you think?
Well, over this past weekend, I got to relax a little bit. I did go to the Council Bluffs Classic, huge high school event that had, I believe, 7 different states. And let me tell you, Joel Adams, if you've never seen him in person, he is worth the money for admission. He was up by 12 or 13 points, looked at the clock, knew he had to get a major, said, oh, let's go neutral. And hell, he didn't get the tech. He took the guy down in some funky move, pinned him, and just calm as day. So he's just very calm, collected, business-like. He was super impressive. Another group, a team I was impressed with on the ladies' side, Washburn Rule out of Kansas. They just destroyed the field at that tournament. At one point, they were up by close to 200 points. So That's kind of the look from the high school rankings from this past week. I know there's some big college. When I say big college for me, I love my small college stuff. I'm doing the Concordia Bulldog duels formats this week, play by play, 5 rounds. And then I do know all my D2 brethren are out in Indy for the huge Midwest Classic, which is always a good preview to the national tournament. So, yeah, a lot of exciting stuff going on. I'm pumped that this week I'll get to see Botterdine Boggy Boldma for Doan. If you've never seen him wrestle, currently on an 82 match win streak, 64 of his 82 wins are bonus. And this year he's 14-0 with 8 tech falls, 6 pins, and I'm going to say this as a hot take, and I don't care if people don't like it because
Let's hear it.
That's all
Let's
right.
go.
You know, we talk about the whole aspect of the Hodge. Well, back in 2001, Kel Sanderson shared with Nick Ackerman. Nick Ackerman, great story. It was the only time he ever All-American. He beat the defending national champion. He had 4 losses, and he only had maybe a third of his matches were bonus. What Boldma is doing, I don't care who he's wrestling. I can't think of too many people across any division. You got to think, too, this is only his 5th year ever doing folk style. His freshman year, he actually took 3rd in JUCOs. And then he's been the 3-time defending NAIA champion. And the last 2 times he's been the OW of the NAIA National Championship. I think his name needs to be mentioned in some sort of potential to be in Hodge. And if we don't have a room for him in the debate, then we need to totally create something else then, because he's absolutely phenomenal. And I don't know. And like I said, if the kid from Simpson Ackerman could have 4 losses and get co-Hodge winner with Kel back in 2001, then why the hell can't we give it to Boggy, Botterdine Boldma, with what he's doing, his work? He could share it. I mean, hell, we all know, and this might butt hurt some people, but we know that somebody straight out won the Hodge by themselves a year or 2 ago, and they went ahead and made it a co-winner. We're not fools. It could happen, and so that's my soapbox. If he stays undefeated, I think his body of work is just superior.
I got a Nebraska question for you.
Okay.
Terry Pack is coming into Nebraska. Terry Pack's going to be starting a JUCO in Nebraska. What are your thoughts about that?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. So Terry Pack and I have a little bit in common. So he initially started up the Neosho County Community College program back in Kansas in the early 2000s, and he had them rolling. He brought in the Siu-Falescu twins and had many other individuals. In fact, when I wrestled at Central Oklahoma back in 2002, I think it was, we were down at the Lone Star Duels. We lost to Neosho County. Well, we went on to win the D2 national title. Neosho was 2nd in JUCOs that year. And so I think he is shaking and baking. He's moving along really quick. I know he has a Greco guy that's on his staff. And the name slips my mind right now, but I have been talking with Terry quite a bit. So I live about an hour to the west of Lincoln, but I go into Lincoln twice a week for I work in health and human services, and Beatrice is about 40 minutes south of there. I've been communicating a lot with Terry. He is busting his rump right now, and he's not even going to be full-time or even really paid until June. And that's the same thing with his assistant. So right now, here's the other thing I want to put out. Again, I don't care if it hurts feelings, is you got guys that aren't even getting paid right now that are busting their ass to put 10 wrestlers out of weight. And actually, I want to say not 10 wrestlers, probably 30 wrestlers. I absolutely am just floored when we have colleges that can't fill 10 damn weights And you see, I saw a duel last week where there was 2 matches. How the hell's that happening? That comes back to so many facets of our sport of, okay, I wasn't recruited out of high school. I found my way 2 years after high school onto a team because somebody gave me a chance. Well, here's the thing is, high school coaches need to be asking their wrestlers. I don't care if you're a state qualifier or not state qualifier. There is room for people. If a kid loves the damn sport, it's a lot better than having a forfeit. We talk about the 125 situation. Oh my gosh, recruit 106, recruit 113, recruit 120. I mean, heck, to have forfeits in college, and I had somebody go, well, you don't understand because you don't coach college. Let me tell you something. I coached at Neosho County Community College, which was 2 hours from everything. I coached at a private school, Concordia, Nebraska. It's about, you can't be a selective prick in some regards. Now, if you're Cal Sanderson, you could call somebody and say, hey, this is Cal Sanderson. I happen to be a Colorado Buffalo fan. I'm elated that we got Coach Prime coming. He can talk. He has a personality, but that's just it. I think there's some guys that were really great wrestlers, national champions and stuff like that, that if it came to, calling a recruit and talking to somebody on the phone or trying to sway somebody to come to them, national champion my ass, they're 0-2 in a t-shirt. We've got some guys that think it's all about what they were, but then we see what they are and they can't coach in terms of recruiting. It's not all about, and we got some young guys getting in there and they're finding out real quick, if you don't recruit and you don't take chances on the guys that weren't state qualifiers or didn't place and try to build something, guess what? Your ass is out the door. Now, if people ask, do I want to get back into coaching? No, I like being on the microphone. It's fun. I like doing play-by-play. I make good money with a grown-up job. This is fun. But man, I'm also the type that says, I don't want to go back to coaching collegiately for this reason. I was that guy that nobody recruited. And I know there's a lot of guys out there that people don't recruit. So guy A might not be perfect for college B, and so on and down the line. So if I have a kid that's interested in wrestling in college, I don't want to be out of college where I say, man, we can't take you. I'd rather be here on the outside having fun and connecting kids and connecting coaches and helping everybody. We don't need to be turning people away from the sport. If somebody wants to wrestle in college, and trust me, I have seen some bad college wrestlers, and this is coming from a guy who looked at the lights a lot. We have room for people. We have room for people.
Swayze, I couldn't agree more. We're going to try to keep getting people in here. Thank you for calling so much, and thank you for supporting as always. $25 more going to Beat the Streets LA, so thank you for joining, my man.
All right,
Appreciate
see you
that.
guys.
Yep.
Ways. Thanks.
All right, we got another one here. We got Chris. Chris, are you there?
Hey.
Chris, how you doing? And by the way, guys, we have people calling. We can only have so many people in the waiting room at a time. So if you guys called and we didn't answer, Colton, I'm seeing you're saying that, we will get to you. But we can only have so many people in at a time. And Colton, if you go ahead and call, we will get you in after. We're going to get Chris here and then Doug, and then we'll get to Colton. But Chris, the floor is yours. What do you want to say?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. I'm a bit of a, I'll say, new fan of,
Thank you.
Of your show. Just got on there. I've been following a little bit on online and whatnot. But even to the sport, although I wrestled in high school, it wasn't my thing. I played baseball and football at Rutgers. But in the last 6-7 years, I've grown like this addiction now to wrestling and whatnot. And I got a few questions. Maybe you can point me in the right direction. And it really stemmed from last night's match with Missouri and Virginia Tech. And actually, I guess it goes back to last year with all the medical forfeits or guys sitting out and not wrestling. when their spot comes up. So in football, if you are down 14 points in the fourth quarter and you're a running team, you got to pass the ball. You do something you're not comfortable with. You go there, you try to get the team win, you try to get the victory. I'm watching Elam and Katka last night, and he has a chance to win at least tie the duel, the big win. Maybe a pinfall gets it for the team, but really wasn't doing it. Really wasn't going after it. It just brought me into my brain that he was more concerned about his ranking, about where he was on the individual level rather than the team level. That wouldn't happen in other sport. You throw shit at the wall. You go after like crazy, and then it got me thinking when it came down to when they have these meets. It seems that the individual rankings in the NCAA tournament in March trumps all the team format that goes out there. It seems that it's much more about what are you doing for me? I'm going to Penn State because I'm going to be a national champion, not that I'm going to go and win a national championship with my team. And it seems like a kind of a miss by the sport. It seems like there needs to be a national dual meet tournament that takes place that brings the emphasis back to the team rather than just the individual. I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that. Maybe I'm missing something on there and whatnot.
I think you maybe answered your own question. Let me just real fast. You hit the nail on the head with because I think Corby's going to expand on this. You hit the nail on the head with the fact that the March tournament is just what these guys care about the most. So it's probably more individual than it is dual meet, but I think that's probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest flaw in wrestling, is that we don't put more emphasis on duels, because that is quite simply the easiest way to get a new fan like yourself on board, is to pay attention to the dual meet scores. It's easy to understand, it's easy to follow, and we've seen so many great environments from the dual meet. It makes not close matches matter a whole lot more. Corby, go ahead.
The problem you have is we're not like indoor-outdoor track where you give out, two separate championships. It's just an issue where if there's going to be one championship and wrestling's not willing to give up the one event of the year that makes money, that has 15,000 people in the seats, is the individual wrestling tournament. And if in order to give a dual team championship, that would change that event, because they're only going to allow one team title for the sport per year. So, and then you get into, it's like you said, it's just, I don't see it ever happening just due to that. It's like we have one event that does good. I'm with you. We do miss the boat sometimes. Definitely, like you said, in dual meets where, hey, maybe I'm going out there and like you said, if I pin the guy, my team wins, but then that's going to hurt me in my seeding in March. So and as a new guy or a new fan per se, we are a team sport, but we're an individual sport first, right? If I'm an individual and I take care of my business, then my team's going to take care of itself down the line. So no wrestler writes down their individual goal or their goals coming into college, and most of them never write down, I want to be part of a team national championship. No, that's not it. They want to be their accolades are kind of for yourself in this sport. I want to be a national champion. I want to be a 4-time All-American. Nobody's writing down, I want to be a part of a 4-time national championship team. It's just not how our brains work and are wired in this sport. Now, is that right? I don't know, but I like our sport because there are no excuses, right? It's like in baseball or whatever, I could say, oh, well, that kid made an error, we would have won. Well, in wrestling, you can't say shit besides you didn't win, So, but that's kind of why we don't have the two titles or the two championships per se.
Real quick, I know you guys waiting.
Anything else, Jake? What do you think?
No, I'm with you, Corby. Let's let him ask this next question.
Just real quick, I noticed over the weekend, or I guess it was this weekend, you had two guys going at him, and he was down 10-0, and then medical forfeited out, and then he doesn't get a loss for medical forfeiting out when he's down 10-0. What's that about?
Corby?
Corby, go off.
Well, I mean,
How much time do you got?
so yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like it's hard, right? Because I mean, medical forfeits are it's a sticky one, right? You'll see. Here's one that's going to confuse you later on in the year. You're going to see guys do, or in the past we've seen guys go out. They blow the whistle, the ref stops it, and then it's a 1 second, right? So the other guy gets the win. You know what I mean?
Oh,
because he
that
needs
was the
to
COVID
win.
year.
There's some,
And they had those extra matches
yeah,
here to get RPI or whatever, right? To go up the ladder.
yeah.
The match and qualify. I mean, that's the kind of fugazi stuff, though, that like keeps, in my opinion, early on here, 5-6 years in, that keeps from the sport blowing up and becoming even more popular. Is that you have these strange oddities that go on that people don't understand what's happening there. How do you have that let that occur? And there's no losses attributed there. Even like the All-Star event, they wrestled, and it doesn't count for their personal record. So it's almost like WrestleStat doesn't even acknowledge that those matches took place at the All-Star Classic.
Yeah, and the one there. Go ahead.
No,
I just think that's crazy as well. I remember getting into an argument with Piles way back in the day about when Jaden Cox wrestled in the. I thought Jaden Cox should be ranked number 1 or something like that at the time, and I remember just going back and forth. I was like in high school and going back and forth with him, and I didn't realize that it didn't count. The NWCA Classic doesn't count, but I think if it did count, we wouldn't have had that stacked of a lineup. So I'm kind of okay with it not counting. Chris, before we let you go though, where you from, my man?
New Jersey, hotbed of high school wrestling and whatnot. Yeah, Middletown, New Jersey.
Thanks. Shout out to New Jersey. Thanks for joining. We're going to keep rolling, though. Thanks again for calling. All right, $25 more to Beat the Streets LA. And we are going to take a couple more here. We're going to get Doug on the line. Doug Prosperi, which I think we got to meet this guy out in Ohio, if I'm correct. Doug, how you doing?
Gentlemen, how we doing this evening?
Good to see you. What do you got going on?
We're just hanging out, recovering from a wrestling hangover, if you would, from this weekend. Holy cow. You had so much going on,
Yeah.
And even at the local level out here in Ohio, between Ironman, obviously, but, we had a lot of other really great tournaments going on this weekend. So, and I'm not going to, boys, I'll tell you, I'm not going to be able to rattle off the things these guys just did. Holy cow. But I love what you guys are doing out there. Good stuff.
Thank you. You got a son, correct?
Iowa boys,
Say it again.
I said nothing but love about the Iowa boys.
Yeah, appreciate that. You have a son that's a hammer, no? Out in Ohio?
I do. Dom Prosperi.
Okay. How's the season going?
He's a D2. Ohio's got D1, D2, D3. He's number 5 in D2 right now.
Okay, Jake, you're nodding your head. Jake knows him. What do you know about him, Jake?
Oh, I was just actually just looking him up, so I was gonna check out his stats there. But congrats! I'm excited. I'm a high school coach myself. So it's always
real quick,
exciting.
He's a freshman right now. Wrestles for Canton South, and it's Canton Local is the school name district, but Canton South is the school name. Which it's kissing cousins to Perry Maslin, if you would. And Dom is kind of in a unique situation. His drill partner since he's been 7 years old is Mason Rohr, Lincoln Rohr, the Horak boys over there at Perry. He just wrestled. You guys covered the scuffle down there in Cincinnati that the RTC put on, and Dom wrestled Kane Shager down there. Now that outcome wasn't quite what we wanted, but it was a good trip down to Cincinnati. A lot was learned. Got us ready for 32 then. Dom went down to 32. Didn't quite have the outcome there either, but we're on the road back from a broken elbow. So Dom broke his elbow there in the quarters at OAC States last year as a 2 seed.
Okay, yeah, if I remember right, I remember that matchup was probably one of the more hyped up ones at the Barbarian Scuffle. What was the actual name of the event? Scuffle.
Preseason scuffle.
The preseason scuffle that Barbarian Apparel did.
That's right. Now they just did a 2 too that I heard was a real big success for him as well. So, but yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna keep it rolling here, though. Anything else you want to say before you go? I guess.
Well, I appreciate. Hey, this is better than Monday Night Football, boys. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. Whenever
Thank
you guys are ready, I'm ready to talk about Ohio Street League as well. So let's open up that window, please.
We've talked about it with I actually talked to Josh on the phone today from Barbarian Apparel. Shout out Barbarian Apparel, by the way. And
cool.
that setup that he's got is great. You know, I think that would be perfect for Street League. It's really, really tight. It reminded me a lot of our first venue when Jake got the W down there.
Absolutely. And the space helmet. We got to have the space helmet if we come to Ohio again. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, boys. I appreciate it. Always good. Keep it up. Keep grinding.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you. We got Colton McChrystal on the line, but he's having technical difficulties. Let's see. There he is. All right. So what are we at so far? That was the third guy. So this is the fourth guy. So another $100 to beat the Streets LA. We got the Street League multiple-time champion. Let's clap it up for him really quick. How you doing, Coach? What do you got going on,
fellas?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. How's Western Iowa going?
I moved.
Where you at?
I'm back in Lincoln. Lincoln. I'm back with the NWTC and in the Nebraska wrestling room every day. It's freaking great.
Let's go. I love that. How is Nebraska doing in your eyes this year?
Good. So, I had that a little bit of a bumpy start. Opened the dual season with loss in North Dakota State. And got to give them credit. They wrestled great. And we had some guys kind of finding their way into the lineup, and also had some guys just finding their way, Brock Hardy lost in that duel, and now he's a hammer. He's back on track. And so, competing well. Back at it this Sunday, have South Dakota State.
And what about you? Are you going to compete anytime soon? What do we got?
No, actually, so I'm with the NWTC, but non-competitive. You guys own me. Stalemate's on.
That's right. Hey, we got you right over here. Don't worry. We got the singlets up on the wall.
Oh, nice. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, well, we haven't really filmed a whole lot in the studio space, so
right.
We'll do a studio tour one of these days. We just haven't got it fully set up how we want. But what do you think of the season overall so far? We won't talk about Nebraska anymore. We got that covered. But are you surprised by how the season's going? A lot of national champs going down.
It's wrestling, man. It's freaking nuts. That's how it goes. That's what makes it great. Listen, if you're a defending national champion, that means that you get to go undefeated and win it the next year. It's not the same sport, So it's awesome. Makes it exciting as a fan, and now as a really invested in my own guys. That just excited to see them. Mikey Labriola just freaking knocked off Mackay. It's just great. It's freaking awesome. Season's coming or it's going, and we're not even in January.
Yeah, it's insane. I can't wait. I started looking at some of the second half schedule. That way I can take work off right now. But before I ask Colton this, because I know he's always ready, we've talked about Colton being the main event of the next Street League, which I think at this point it's probably a done deal if he's still competing whenever we get going. But I want to know, who does Corby and Jake think Colton McChrystal should wrestle next? I haven't talked to Colton at all about this, but who would you guys like to see Colton wrestle next?
Corby, you got any ideas? I got to think about this one for a sec.
Can I put something out there first?
Go ahead.
I think Montel Marion would be a good one for me to try and get.
Dang.
Thoughts?
In the vault.
What do you think?
I'm sure. Yeah. I have no idea what that guy's up to.
I don't really either. I don't even know him. I haven't talked to him, but I do know that he's working out in some rooms, and I've heard he's looking good and this and that. And I know he's involved in the sport. I know he's in Des Moines area. He's a former Hawkeye. You're a stud from the state of Iowa. I think it makes a ton of sense.
Sure, man. Yeah, I'll take it.
That's been Colton's
Why not?
response every time.
And for anybody curious, that's exactly how any negotiation has ever gone with Colton. So I can literally say whoever, and he's going to say yeah.
Dude,
You guys
it's
thought of
wrestling, like, what else? I mean, what am I going to do? Lose? Like, it's, at this point, like, it doesn't matter, you know? Just put on a show, have some fun. You don't get to do that. Like, imagine another sport where you get to do that. Like, you're retired, but you get to come out and be a part of, like, this really cool thing that is pretty unique and continue to do what you've been doing for your whole life. Like, there's not a lot of other sports you can just do that. Like, yeah, you could just jump into, like, a 5-on-5 basketball game, like a pickup game, but it's not the same, right? Like, it's, you know, when you can just retire from wrestling and your competitive career is over, and so it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, but you can still jump into an event like Stalemates puts on and scrap it out with someone that's tough. Like, I've had 3 freaking studs. This is the best. Like, it just, I've won, which has been cool, but if I hadn't, like, respect to those guys, they're freaking animals, and yeah, that's why. Yeah, I'll probably continue to do it until someone tells me otherwise.
Corby, do you think of somebody?
You
Jake?
know, I did. How about Mitch McKee? Mitch McKee.
Yeah,
That's one I
we
just
did
thought
that.
of.
Well, we did that one in what was that? 2021.
The Wisconsin
Yeah,
event.
yeah, Wisconsin RTC thing, and you know he was training
Yep.
hard. It was my first year of coaching at Morningside, and
Yep.
my number one goal was don't get head pinched. That's about it.
Yep.
And he went big to start the match, and he dropped me right on his own head,
Mm.
and I thought he knocked himself out. He was dizzy, and he still made it really tough on me after throwing himself onto his head. And yeah, it was tough. But he's also got another career going, so I don't know. I don't know how realistic that one
He
is.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. My opinion, we got to go back to the very first venue. That was, I mean, to me, Street League 4's got to be where Street League 1 was. We've been a few other places, but that venue was epic. Like you said, McChrystal, Montel Marion in there would be unbelievable.
Yeah, I think
Wow,
it sells
that would be
out. I think
epic. That place.
I think that's an instant sellout for sure. Especially if we get some more local guys on the undercard or the rest of the card. I don't like to say undercard, but the rest of the main card, I think we pack it with a bunch of local Iowa people again and get McChrystal and I don't know if it's possible, but I would love to see Montel Marion go out there one more time.
We definitely got to bring the Wombats, right?
Yeah, they'll be there for sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and they got to have
Schmitz.
a guy. They got to have a guy in it, and then you just got to call Nick Mitchell at Grandview and get a bunch of Grandview dudes to scrap. A few Grandview guys on the card. I mean, come on, dude. If you're throwing out a wrestling mat in a place and you're just gonna go scrap, and dude, if you got to get Justin Cothe. I mean, come on, that dude's been through everything. He's been up, down. If Justin Cothe can't come and drink beer and wrestle, then nobody can.
Dang,
man.
he's like your age, Jake, right? You guys the same
Yeah,
age?
he is. I think he's a year younger than me, so he would be an awesome dude. He'd bomb some
Dude.
dudes.
I saw him at an open like just last year, and I could not believe it. That he was still in a college open wrestling. Like, it was crazy. He's a year older than me.
Yeah, he was probably one of the best ones in Iowa to never win it, I would say. Like, he was literally ragdolling guys to the point that he was getting kicked out of the state tournament.
Mr. DQ, which is probably not what you want to be known for.
But, man, he was fun to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Colton, thank you for joining. Another $25 to beat the streets LA. We're going to end the show here with a friend of the show. What were you saying, Colton?
Got you up to that $100.
Yes, you did. Thank you, as always. You're always the best to us, so I appreciate that, my man.
No problem. We'll catch you guys later. Maybe at the next. Oh, also, Stalematies are coming up. We'll see how this year goes. I thought I got hosed last year, but
we'll see.
Yeah, no comment. But I wouldn't disagree with you either. I think that's a very. I had nothing. I'm stay out of that. All right, Colton. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. See you guys.
All right, one more call here. This guy doesn't know how to use the internet though, so we'll see if he joins. He's texting me, telling me let me see. If you're listening, Mr. Last Guy, join again. You guys know what I'm talking about? Friend of the show, maybe? You guys are gonna have fun with this one.
I definitely know. It's got to be Felter's Facts. This guy is probably in a tree stand somewhere. He's probably got he probably hooked an antenna to his freaking RV for freaking internet or something. Who knows?
Yeah, let's close this bad boy out with him.
He's
if he ever
probably
gets
a half
on.
hour out. He'll be here in a minute.
But yeah, I think McChrystal and Montel would be fun. I think that would be fun.
I think that was a great suggestion. I mean, he's in the Des Moines area too. I mean, you're talking two guys that are around the same weight who love to scrap and wrestle hard. So I think it's a great suggestion.
Yeah, last I knew, he was scrapping pretty hard in the room with some current Hawkeyes. So I heard it got fun. But all right, let's see if he can get in here. I don't know if it's going to work. So we'll give him a couple more minutes. But what do you guys think of the live show so far? I like it. I mean, we got some obvious kinks to work out here because we had some technical difficulties in the beginning. But I think for the most part, it's been fun. Let's see if we can get this goober on the phone one more time. If you're listening, try it one more time. If not, we got to bounce out of here. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. Come on.
Here he is.
Let's see. I think it might be his internet.
Camera.
It says guest has muted himself, so you gotta unmute yourself.
Who is this mystery man?
He's labeled in here as Big Brother.
Oh yeah, down in the bottom, the little. No, he's
I
good.
think from
He'll
some private
figure it out. You
communications.
just gotta click the mute.
He says, "Let's." All right, maybe this won't work, but let's see. Let's see if he can get this going. He's joined. He's called it multiple times, but it just hasn't gone through. Let's see. He's
weird.
probably on your phone.
Well, dude, he's in Bondurant, dude. Like, I don't even know if they have internet out there.
All right, let's see. Nathan Ryan Jiu-Jitsu says, love it. Thank you. Anton says, it's awesome. Thank you. Grandview and Wartburg should duel, but have a pre-show duel of alumni matches. Jake?
Yeah,
That's
I'm
right
in.
up your alley. Who's going to win that this year? Oh, wait, not Grandview. Who's Wartburg? Augsburg, right?
Yeah, Wartburg Augsburg D3.
Have they wrestled yet? They probably haven't, right?
No, I think they normally wrestle in January,
Okay.
February.
Is that worth going up to?
It's awesome. You'd love it.
Yeah, it gets pretty heated. Do they do it
Oh,
at a
yeah.
mutual site, or where they go home and home, or what?
They go back and forth. So like Augsburg does a stage with the whole, drop light, and it's a big deal. And then up in Waverly, they just have a ton of fans, so they love it up in Waverly. So yeah, it's an awesome duel. I was lucky to wrestle in a couple of them, so I got to feel it. Unfortunately for me, I loved to lose to Mike Fuenfinger, but he was a stud, so I can't really say much about that.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Jake wrestled at Wartburg in 1999, right? 98?
Yeah. 2000, yeah.
All right, let's see if he can get on here. He said he's going to try one more time. He's trying on his phone.
All
Let's
right.
see. If this doesn't work, it's just going to be a wrap for the day.
Oh
Oh,
no.
the goat. The
There
goat.
he is. Look at him.
He might be frozen.
Yo.
No. Are you
I
there?
can hear him.
Can you hear us?
That's a pretty ominous picture of him right now.
I see his ugly mug.
I don't know. He's on that.
He's in the boonies.
He's muted himself. All right. Well,
Next time.
yeah.
And
We gave away our secret guest, but
There's our secret guest. That's all you're going to get for now.
You're going to have to drive out to his house and give him a tutorial.
everyone remember that face in the lower right corner.
Yeah.
That's
Actually,
a good clip, though. Good clip.
yeah. That's a great clip.
That's aim security. That's aim security right there.
There he is. All right. All right, guys. Thanks for watching so much. Maybe we can get fellers on here next week, see if we can hook them up with some Wi-Fi or some Ethernet, get them going. But thank you guys for watching. If you guys like this live show, we'll just keep doing it every week. I think this is probably more fun than we've had so far this year for shows, at least for the virtual shows. You guys have anything else you want to say before we go?
Nope.
Nope. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
See you next
Roll
week.
Tide. Yep. Thanks, guys.